Fucking sick! We're back, baby. Whee! You stand on a chair, you fucking jump off. These little tiny things which make it worth the 2 million views that it got. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ryan Reacts, the show in which I, Ryan, an editor, react to 3 videos and break down how I think they were made and what I would do to remake it. It has been a hell of a long time since the last time I recorded this episode. The simple reason is that I had to make money because otherwise I was about to go broke. Luckily, over the past year, I've been really busy scaling the agency, so much so that we have our own office with a neon sign. So, seems legit, I guess. With that being said, we are now back in action trying to build up, especially this portfolio, helping other content creators, probably like yourself, understand how creators have made hits. With that being said, I'm gonna go and dive into the first video of today. Alright, here we go. We come in cooking. We come in cooking. It is, wow, it's on fire. It's on fire. Now, obviously, I've seen these reels in advance, so I know they're all shockingly good. And I'm going to try to the best of my ability to break down how this is done, if I even can. Now, people, I am human. I do make mistakes. So before you come at me in the comments, just try to make a video. Okay, anyway. So this first part, I assume, judging by how the ground kind of looks a little bit distorted, I think this is the original shot. And what he's done is he's basically used generated fill to replace the background. Right, so I'm assuming this entire segment was selected and it was like, make it a wider room, fill the space out, so that ultimately you can then do what he did here. Because the wall also kind of changes in texture versus back here. Or maybe he actually cropped the wall and then, yeah, fair. Maybe he cropped the wall, made that smaller and added generated fill on the spaces in between here, because it does actually look like the wall stayed the same. So that's part 1, which is fucking crazy. Then here's a quick pivot to a frame of an Instagram comment whereby he's rotoscoped himself out here, and as he comes into shot, right, this is still the back shot, he's rotoscoped himself out, put himself on the top layer, and then automated a Gaussian blur on the background versus him now in picture, right? So this segment here is now a rotoscope on top, Gaussian blur keyframes, and that's how he appears. This is also why he's able to hide the text behind him. A tool I use for this is runway.ml. I fucking hate After Effects and probably just, you know, should take the time to learn it, but I can't be bothered. Runway, you can quickly rotoscope stuff, put it on a green screen, drag it back into Premiere. And I've actually heard that Adobe now has the update in Premiere, whereby you can put it in yourself, which is sick, because it means I'm able to stop paying for yet another tool. So, this part I was mind blown by, but I think it's pretty simple, to be honest. And the original clip, obviously, there is no Instagram. You just make the same movement, right? You know, you're standing, go like this, zzzt, make that movement, and then keyframe the text box of Instagram to go up with it at the same time. And then hide the text behind the Instagram box, add a bit of motion blur. Now, if you in Adobe use the transform for this effect, you can put the shutter angle to about 100, 120. And then you'll automatically get a bit of a blur rather than needing to add additional directional blur, which I personally feel like always over blurs stuff. I feel like the shutter angle on transform actually makes it nicer. And then we just very smartly cut into the next shot, which is him doing some sort of split jump. I wonder how he managed to do that. Obviously filmed at a very high frame rate in order to slow down. This was genius. And then the effect he's added in here is probably just an overlay, a glass overlay. If you type in smashed glass green screen overlay, you'll probably find something. There's plenty of them on YouTube. And then you can put it on top like this. And having timed it nicely, and probably with the sound effects, you get a beauty. And this is very smart, right? This is using where your eye is already looking, which is just naturally at the center of the broken glass here, and redirecting it where in the next shot by having the frame of the glass, in this case, point to the head, right? So the head is now on top of this layer, and I'm not sure how he's filmed this, if it's with a gimbal, but either way, it's a simple motion. And then added fisheye lens filter, or maybe it's an actual fisheye lens, to really amplify this circle effect that's going on, right? And smooth zoom in, blur transition, more fisheye lens. Ooh, that was smooth as well. How's he done that? Oof. Jesus. Okay. It does seem like the fisheye wasn't actually filmed with, but it was added in as an effect afterwards. Here comes in a zoom in. Then he, on the new shot, has rotoscoped himself and somehow managed to change the color. So I imagine he's either up the saturation, or it might just be an overlay on him, which makes it feel like a film burn transition. Could have been an exclusion blend mode as well, that he switched the blend modes. And then here we're back into a different shot, zooming out. This shot is also crazy, by the way. This is crazy. This must be one of these infinite zoom effects. Probably again whereby you have a core focus in the middle. It could be a one lens, but probably it's the core focus, and you just zoom out the picture and continuously add generated fill to the surroundings to fill out the new spaces. And when you then either zoom in or zoom out, whatever way you do, you have a sick effect. These little details as well, they're so well done, so finely crafted. Adding in like little text effects, and nothing crazy, nothing big, nothing visual, because it's already, there's a lot happening, so you have to keep it simple. But knowing how to add in these text effects to give it sort of unique feel is fantastically done. Oh, then this was the creme de la creme of finishes. This was a sick final effect to this video. So well done, and it's actually really simple to make, right? So let me break down how he edited this. You have a base shot. This is a base shot whereby no one is in the picture, right? Over the course of each shot that you film, while your camera is standing here, you're not allowed to move the camera, because that's critical for this. Ideally, you fix the exposure on your camera as well, so that there's also no changes in lighting for when you move in and out of the picture. That's how you're going to get the best. Then you're going to stand in many different areas, right? So just for example purposes, you're going to take one that you're standing here, and you got one that you're standing here, and then you're going to stand here like this against the wall. And you get my point, you know, you're standing here. You get the idea. Fucking hell, it's hot. And then you film yourself for about 5 seconds at a time, just to give yourself a bit of breathing space. And then you rotoscope each of them individually out, and you put them onto the base shot, the empty one that you have. And you just edit yourself back in. And then you spend a little bit of time on grading to bring the shadows back in, make sure that the lighting is accurate wherever you need it. But that's how you create this sick clone effect. It is simple if you understand the mechanics, and it's so fucking effective. So try it. Share your example with me in the DMs. Anyway, on to the next one. Finally, how he did this. Each one he's rotoscoped out. He then, as the light comes, basically crops them out with opacity mask. And then as the light goes forward, it gets smaller and smaller, and it allows the back shot to come through. Back shot is also blurred here, by the way, as you can see, and the more it comes forward, then we release the Gaussian blur to show the original image. And what he's also nicely done, of course, is give a seamless transition, which we all love. Boom! Fucking sick! We're back, baby. Okay, on to the next one. No time to waste. Okay, next one is it's maybe a bit controversial, especially since I'm a Kendrick fan, but it is from a Drake video that I really appreciated, so we're gonna do it anyway. I'm sorry, Kendrick fans, don't come for me. I still love you guys, okay? Fuck Drake. Probably a minor.
What did I miss? When I was looking at y'all and cooking with y'all and giving out verses and bookings to y'all, making sure I was with Hitman. What did I miss? When you was all in my crib, looking at hoes, word for word at all of the shows. You always felt like this, man. What did I miss?
Simple effects done in this one, but yeah, so visually effective, such a nugget. I don't know if this is actually from the actual song, if this is the clip, but either way I came across it while scrolling and I thought it was lit. So let me break down for you how I would go about recreating it. So we start with a big text effect and just short enough to recognize Drake, which this trick will only work if you have a face that is in some way recognizable. Therefore, I might give it a bit more time if you are not a celebrity. But if you're editing for celebrities or happen to be, this might be enough time. So this effect is obviously typed out on an iPhone. Now, some people might have recreated this in an After Effects, but you could probably also just do this by screen recording your iPhone. Type in Miss and the snake emojis. Drag that into Premiere Pro. Now zoom in to the best of your ability. You may need to enhance this bit with a little bit of white, but zoom it in so you kind of frame it in the same way as has been done here. Then you add the lens distortion effect in Premiere Pro on it, and you put the curvature to, I think, let's say -20. That's going to create this bulge that we see in here, right? And that's how you create this. Simple as that. As we see here, there's 2 frames in this. That's very quickly done, but it's a quick visual nugget to keep it interesting, whereby you simply drag the effect invert onto the clip and it will change the colors to look the other way around. Simple as that. When I was looking at y'all and cooking with y'all and same here, guys. This is super simple but looks so clean, and we see it all the time in the moment. This here and cooking with y'all, it's as simple as just adding the exclusion blend mode on a sick font that you have, and then you get this effect. It's no harder than that. This part is probably the best segment. Like, it's super well done. It builds on the messaging effect that we already had. Fantastic. I'm a big fan. I'm really trying to understand like the motion of this stuff at the moment myself, so it's really awesome. As you see, you have the keyboard thing here again, and then the part behind it. So this part, the Drake verse 2, is actually just a designed itself. You could probably even create this in Canva. That's how I do it a lot of the time. You just make it appear from behind the text, right? You keyframe the text to go down, and you keyframe the new Drake verse message to come in. Add a bit of rotate so that you get this effect. And then yeah, you can probably get the flickering effect by increasing the saturation, or maybe you need to make 2 versions and then clip between them, whereby one is a darker gray and one's a lighter gray, right? And then we transition here. You would probably get this effect by fading between the 2. So fading between the white to the black, and then change the new clip accordingly as well. And then we have a new effect whereby it obviously comes in on booked. The save button is loose from it. So you scale save button up and you increase the saturation on that or the outline so that you create a little glow effect. And this part is also really well done. So here we have film burn overlay, bringing in the transition smoothly, and there's keyframes, so the making moves to the right, sure moves to the left, wires moves to the right. You can do this again just in Premiere. Again, I'm almost certain the person who's done this has done it in After Effects. You basically do it within the frame in Premiere and then animate the keyframe so the text moves off, moves that way, text moves that way, that way, you guys get it. And then add the lens distortion effect again as at the beginning. That's going to create the bulge, and then just reposition it slightly and add a basic 3D so that the tilt function allows the text to move backwards like this so that you get this effect, right? Some old clips to spice up, add to the vinyl vintage vibe. There's a very like mixed vibe going on here though. It works somehow. Normally you would see a lot more of like sticking to one style, either vintage or either modern with the like texting, right? It works. It looks sick. Word in 100 shows, you always felt like this, man. What did I miss? Finally, this effect that I thought should be mentioned because it's very simple but looks so clean. So it's basically just called adding scan lines. I'll add a video in the description on how you guys can best do this because the guy explains it much quicker than I can. But what I do in a lot of my trailers is add this scan line on top of all of the B-roll, and what that does is it actually creates cohesion between the clips. So it feels like all of the clips belong together, even though they individually maybe have different gradings, different looks, different colors. And so this is an easy way to bring your footage together. It's not used this way here, but it's it does the job, and I think it's a good trick to know. And finally, just a crop coming in right from both the top and the bottom to add to the dancing effect that he's already doing. All right, that was the second video. On to the final, last video, 3 already, guys. The final 20-second video though has been going absolutely viral, and I thought it was about time that I break it down as well to the best of my ability. I think this guy probably started this whole Creed trend, and I figured I'd break down the aspects that go into making this insane, mind fucking blowing. Genuinely, guys. Okay, let's watch it. I want to be a filmmaker. I want to be a filmmaker. Oh, fucking clean. Oh, well done. Sometimes I think how long it fucking takes to make these kind of videos, right? Like this is 20 seconds and this guy probably easily spent maybe 2-3 days on this, probably more. The guy's very smart. What he's done is adding an unusual hook. Someone picking their eyebrows makes you automatically like, dude, what are you doing? The underlying storytelling tactic, I guess, that's being used here is obviously eyelashes. In most Western cultures, are when you blow them is a sign that you're making a wish. So he's demanding that he makes his own future by saying that he wants to be a filmmaker. It's simple but very neatly done storytelling tactic. I want to be a filmmaker. So let's start with just this first phenomenal shot. Phenomenal. The camera is shooting at a super high frame rate so that it's easy for him to slow down the footage. There's probably an additional AI tool that he's used that allows to make like ultra slow footage. But either way, both times you need to be shooting at a very high frame rate to make this look smooth, you know? I'm assuming he has, in terms of coloring, because he has so much backlight, that's how he's really highlighted this effect, that he is so much at the focus. So adding in a lot of backlight will allow your subject that's at the front to look very dark. Set up your camera at high frame rate, you stand on a chair, right? And you fucking jump off like this. No, I'm not gonna do it. Got you. We move on to the next shot, whereby he starts adding in clips of different timelines to make a transition. Now this is done fantastically. And these are just 3 different shots cropped in such a way, what is it, stripe effect, right? And then if you like match the two, if you drag the two on top of them each other, you can perfect the crop so that they look identical. You might have also just done this with a mask on the opacity so that you can draw it out and then just copy the mask over to the other clips. But then the kind of key trick, what he does is here to make a match cut to aid the transition. So you can already tell something is coming in, right? But if he would have now, let's say, gone to this clip as full, it would have been too on the nose. So instead what he did was he got another shot, outlined the head to perfect the match cut, and then in another shot, a new shot, has continued the rest of the body. So everything lines up perfectly, all the while pushing the style through from the previous round. Phenomenal editing. So well done. Simple effect, but chef's kiss. Then new shot comes in. And we're just continuing this effect, right? Just perfectly lining up the match cut of the bodies. And then at some point, boom, we get completely new shot. Now we've got an eye. Close the eye, open the eye. We're still continuing on the eyes. I think when you use the blend mode difference and set the color to either red or blue in this case, that's how you're going to get this effect. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong. Then you just duplicate the eye at the point whereby it was closed, and you add them in around here, and you add an opacity mask and increase the feather so that the eyes around the main eye all look smooth, so it doesn't look like a bunch of clips on top of each other. And then they open again, right? It could be the same shot, just positioned differently and at later times on when they open. Also, again, simple trick, but fantastically done, right? Just have one clip desaturated and one clip with full saturation. Fantastic. So smart. So smart. It's a good thing I'm in the office because otherwise I won't be able to shout like this at home because my kid would be asleep. This is also genius. Genius. The principle is simple, right? Get another person, film their eyes, and then reposition them on your face and match cut them, right? And then add the top layer, put the opacity down so you can, as closely as possible, line up the features. Because here you'll see that, for example, the nose is ever so slightly off, which you're always going to get when you have a different face. But you can match up the core elements so that they create this unique visual as he has now done. This idea is actually more or less the same as what I explained with the cloning effect in the previous video. It looks like he's just rotoscoped himself out, made 2 more copies of that, so you have 3 people, and just make them appear one by one on the beat, of course, cut in well. But this like cloning effect is so simple to keep it visually entertaining, right? Like if he would have just had himself here screaming just over that whole course, which he could have done, you would have lost the interest given the intention of this video. And so this is just how you add these little tiny things which make it worth the 2 million views that it got. So this shot is again more match cutting, done with a macro lens, probably on a clamp. And in the clamp you can buy these. They're super cheap on Amazon for like 14 bucks, I think. I think that's what I got mine for. And you just clamp the pen, in this case, in there, a magic arm I think they're called, and then you just film the shot again and again on different backgrounds, and then you line up the pen. And because the magic arm usually holds the pen in the same place, you don't have to line up the pen, you just have to line up the shots that you took, because most of the time the distance at which the pen is will constantly be the same. If you're into this, creating this kind of magic, that's definitely worth an investment, and I'm pretty sure I'll remember to add a link. If not, please comment, remind me, and I'll send the link to you guys. So fucking well done, guys. So well, dude, if you happen to be watching this, phenomenal. Like, I know you start this video with I want to be a filmmaker, but I think it's only a matter of time before someone sees this and is like, we need to hire this guy. Also, the nature shots you've gotten, man, they're fantastic. Woo! And with that being said, we've come to the end of the first ever Ryan Reacts back after 1 year. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please leave a like. I'm intending to bring you guys a lot more of this over the coming period, along with more tutorials on stuff that I've edited, along with more interviews, or let's say a podcast type style with creators who have made content in their space. The main thing is that I am back and I'm creating more content for creators who want to make beautiful, fantastic, engaging storytelling content. So if that's something you're interested to see more about, follow along. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.